Presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
It is not very nice outside Rogers Center right now, but it's pretty comfortable inside. The Chicago White Sox are ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Renteria in his second season as the skipper of the White Sox. They lost last night 4-2. They out-hit the Blue Jays 6-4, but the Blue Jays got 3 big home runs, including Russell Martin's big home run in the 7th. Take a look at the lineup for Chicago. Down in the 5th spot, Matt Davidson. He's second in the American League with 6 RBIs. Of course, he's second to Justin Smoke, who's got 8. Wellington Castillo, Blue Jays need to come up with a different plan to pitch to Castillo. He's 15 for 53 with 7 homers and 11 RBIs. They've got to try something different. He pounded out a pair last night.
That will be up to Jay Happ, who will get the start tonight, coming off his first career opening day start. That was against the Yankees. Did okay. 4 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts. Held that powerful Yankee team to just 2 earned runs. Should be a good matchup against the White Sox. Jay won both of his starts against Chicago last season. Just 4 runs in 13 and 2/3 innings for his career. He's 3-2 against Chicago.
He delivers a first pitch strike to Yoan Moncada. A switch hitter, batting right-handed naturally against Happ. The second baseman batting .231, and Happ delivers strike 2.
Get used to that when Jay Happ is on the mound, pounding that fastball with that strike zone with the fastball. And this is a free swinging team.
Foul ball just outside of third. Donaldson threw it just in case. Third base umpire Jordan Baker waved it foul. Of course, everybody's going to keep their eye on Donaldson to see how that arm is. There are some hitters in this lineup that will bunt, and I'm sure we're going to see that, see if they test him.
I just heard the whistle after that nice play by Josh. There's another fastball right there. I was talking about Happ and his use of the fastball. He pounds that strike zone with it and then takes a little something off. He'll split that changeup. He can cut that ball into the righties if he needs to. But he's always on attack mode.
He ran that fastball away. He gets the first strikeout of the game on that sinker away. Let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. It's Granderson, Pilar, and Grichuk. Boys, it's good to see Donaldson back at third.
First game at third base since opening day. Blue Jays say he is over his arm problems, and we saw that first throw. It looked pretty normal to me.
1 away. Avisail Garcia, the right fielder. He's just 1 for 6 against Happ. This is a tough lineup against lefty pitching. Got some great hitters, and they've got 2 of the best against lefty pitching in all of baseball. And Garcia gets a base hit on the first pitch right up the middle, splits the defense.
It's tough, the middle of this lineup against a left-hander, and Garcia, Abreu, and Davidson. Last season, Avisail Garcia hit over 500 on the first pitch. So you know he's ready to swing it, which he does right here. Cutter down it in, and Garcia takes it right back through the middle. Hit 506 on the first pitch last season.
Right up the middle, a 1-out single for Garcia. Here is Jose Abreu, also a very good right-handed hitter. Abreu 3 for 4 in the game last night. He had half of the White Sox hits. Happ just pounds that strike zone. Abreu just 2 for 8 against Happ. He is 5 for 12 on the season.
He looked good on the bases yesterday, too. Ran himself into a double, tried to tag up on a fly ball to left field, but you can see he looks like he's in great shape. It's like he lost a little weight, and he was very aggressive on the bases yesterday.
Now, the Blue Jays have 2 Cubans on their team, in Aledmus Diaz and Kendrys Morales, and they say this is the best they've ever seen Abreu. Base hit to right. Stayed on that outside pitch. Grichuk will get it back in quickly. Garcia stops at second.
Tough to play Abreu in any kind of shift because he hits the ball from foul line to foul line. Happ's going to beat him with a fastball, but he stays inside that ball so nicely. And with Solarte shading himself towards second base, that's Solarte towards second. That's an easy shot for Abreu. See how he stays inside that low fastball? And he picks up his first hit.
Matt Davidson, we mentioned he has 6 RBIs. That's good for second in the American League. Of course, he had a big 3-homer game in the opening game of the season. Off to a good start. 3 homers, 6 RBIs.
Strong. Really came into his own last year when he hit his 26 home runs. 4th best in White Sox history for a rookie.
And that's a long history. White Sox have been around a long time.
The guy who has the record for most home runs as a White Sox rookie is over at first base. It's right in front of him.
There's a fastball right on the corner. It's 2-1 now to Davidson. Of course, Jose Abreu is the guy that has that rookie record.
36 of them in 2014. Davidson last year with 26. He's got some power. You got to keep the ball down.
Off the plate inside. It's 3-1 now. Garcia's at second. He singled up the middle. Abreu's at first. He singled on the ground to right. Jay Happ will take another grounder at an infielder right here. Pop into the seats.
I like where all those pitches are, though. They're down against Davidson, trying to get that ball on the ground, get it in the dirt for him to hit into a double play. You start elevating baseballs to the middle of this lineup, and you're going to be hurting. They can hit the long ball.
Strike 3 call right on the inside corner. Jerry Lane, the veteran umpire, rings up Matt Davidson. Second strikeout for Happ, but Wellington Castillo, he has had the Blue Jays number recently.
That was an inside pitch by Garcia that gave them a 1-0 lead. He'd then tie the game up with a home run later on. We saw him do this when he was with the Baltimore Orioles a couple of times last year with multi-home run games. I think you need to go up and down, soft stuff away from him, make him reach for the ball.
2 outs, 2 on. That cutter missed just off the plate inside. Happ thought he had thrown a strike. We mentioned Castillo's great numbers against the Blue Jays going back to last season. He's hit 7 home runs and driven in 11 against the Jays. 7 of his 15 hits have been homers. Good block by Luke Maile. Maile making his second start of the season. He started 36 games a year ago. But the difference this year is the fact he spent an entire spring training with the Blue Jays, and he has really adapted well with this pitching staff.
This is part of the plan, if you will, with the Blue Jays. Play 2 games, Russell Martin, and then have him take a day off to rest those legs. Devin Travis is on the same program. John Gibbons was saying earlier today he'd like to break that up somehow where both of them are not off at the same time. Still want to stick with that program, play 2, then off 1. Figure out a way to get both of them so they're not sitting on the bench at the same time.
2-0 pitch. Good sink on that fastball, ran down and away.
I think if you stay there, down and away, and especially with soft stuffs, I think you can get Castillo to try and roll over on the ball. He's always looking to pull the ball, hook the ball to left field. His home runs have come to left field against the Blue Jays. Stay down and away from him.
Another good pitch, down and away. He rolled over on that one. 6 career multi-home run games for Castillo. 3 of those have come at the expense of the Blue Jays. Jay Happ with a couple of strikeouts. He got one kind of swinging and Davidson looking. Oh, he made a good pitch. Castillo laid off a tough pitch. It's now a full count. So the runners, Garcia from second and Abreu from first, will be moving. 2 outs.
Got to regather yourself after you think you've got a guy struck out like that. Gather your thoughts and throw a better one.
Castillo has seen just about everything in this at bat. It's a grounder. Donaldson waits for it, takes his time. Happ gets out of it. Couple of singles by Garcia and Abreu. No damage. Jay Happ with a couple of strikeouts.
Was caught on camera after he hit his first home run of the season. Now Boston, who's known for blowing that whistle after a very nice defensive play by his team, said that he knew ahead of time that Donaldson wasn't particularly thrilled about the whistle, quote, and he showed me that he was not. Boston said he blew the whistle hard a couple of times even before Donaldson stepped into the box just to get him riled up. Now, for those wondering, Boston's dugout whistle is within Major League Baseball rules, and unless it becomes a source of tension between the clubs, baseball will not ask him to cease and desist. And Buck, Boston ended his media availability last night by saying, quote, "You can pin that home run on me."
Well, he rattled the cage of Donaldson, and Donaldson cashed in, hit a home run direct. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. They managed just 4 hits last night, but they scored 4 runs, including Josh's first home run of the season, and he has worn out the White Sox. 10 home runs in his last 23 games, and how about Justin Smoke? 17 home runs after the 6th inning or later. He was a terrific late inning home run guy against some tough bullpen pitchers.
Yeah, and the whole Blue Jay team has been good from the late innings on so far early in this season. This is 33-year-old Miguel Gonzalez will get the start for the White Sox tonight, his first of 2018. Gonzalez knows all about the Blue Jays. This is his 16th appearance, 15th start against Toronto. Remember, he was with Baltimore at a time. Pitched a little bit with Texas last year after he was traded there at the trade deadline.
Hot shot right to the second baseman as Moncada plays it to first, 1 away. We mentioned Donaldson and Boston had that situation last night, but they had some fun with it before the game. Boston's got the whistle out, and Donaldson can smile about it. Then he says, I'm going to blow the whistle. Okay, first time up. So you can see that both players and the coach having a good time with it. Dale Boston and Donaldson exchanging over that whistle incident last night. Not a big deal. So Donaldson has homered in 4 straight games against Chicago.
So that's how they get on players nowadays. They used to rib them from the bench. Now they whistle at them.
Whistle at them, whatever it takes.
Trying to distract him. You can't distract this guy. I mean, that kind of stuff just fires him up. We have seen it time and time again in his four seasons with the Blue Jays. You know, you say something about him or you get on him or somebody from the opposition says something, he always seems to come back with a vengeance.
The off-speed pitch tapped toward the mound. Gonzalez takes his time. Donaldson taps back to the mound. Take a look at the defense for Chicago. Nicky Delmonico is in left field, Engel in center, and Avisail Garcia in right, and they've got a good young player at shortstop.
Yeah, and he's getting better and better every year. That's Tim Anderson. Just 3 errors over his final 37 games last year after he committed 25 in the first 109 last season. He moves well. He's going to get better and better at shortstop. He's got quick feet, strong arm. He's just learning to play the position at the major league level. He made some plays last night that he got to. Robbed Kevin Pillar of a base hit last night.
This is Justin Smoke. Takes the first pitch up and away. Smoke just 0 for 2 against Miguel Gonzalez. Gonzalez, as Pat mentioned, pitched for the Orioles from 2012 to 2015. So the Blue Jays have seen a lot of him in the past. High pop-up, and it's playable. Tyler Saladino, the third baseman, makes the catch out in shallow left field. Just 7 pitches, and Miguel Gonzalez retires the side in order. We have played an inning. No score here at Rogers Center. Jay Happ's in his second stint with the Blue Jays. He re-signed as a free agent, and boy, that was a good move for both Happ and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, look at the record, the numbers for Happ in his second stint with Toronto. I chalk that up, Buck, to just a player who, is getting better as he gets older. How many times have you seen pitchers just burst on the scene and just dominate? Well, most of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. For the most part, guys come up here and there's a learning process. Jay's been through that, and he's one of the better left-handers now in the American League.
And Jay has talked about that too as he watches other lefties around baseball. And he thought, you know what, I've got better stuff than that guy. I should have a better record, and he did. He won 20 games in 2016. A terrific season for Jay. Pitched 195 innings.
There's always a learning curve. I don't care who you are. Remember when Randy Johnson first came up? I mean, Randy was wild. But he harnessed that. He figured it out. He figured out his windup and his release point or whatever it is all the way to the Hall of Fame.
I got another guy for you that struggled early on. Nolan Ryan. He had a tough time finding the strike zone. I think that's the key to being a successful pitching coach, is recognizing that you got to be patient. Allow pitchers to develop.
And that's what it's all about, developing. When Jay came up, he came out of college. He was with the Phillies, and he was just inconsistent. Some games he'd be outstanding, then he would find it, then lose it, and then find it again. And it took him a while to go around the league and get some innings and some years under his belt. And you're starting to see the finished product.
Ground ball past Smoke into right field. Tim Anderson stayed on that outside pitch. A leadoff single here in the second. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Blue Jays know all about Didi Gregorius, how you have a tendency to overlook Gregorius hitting down in that order. Once you focus on Judge and Stanton, Gregorius will hurt you.
Second career multi-home run game, 6 RBIs, ties a career high. He had a few seasons ago. Yeah, you forget about those big boys, and there's Didi Gregorius ready to put it on you.
This is Adam Engel, the center fielder. He's 3 for 10 in the early going this season. Engel can really run. Tough guy to double up.
The guy at first base can really run too, so keep an eye on him. And Jay checks in on first base.
Anderson has a stolen base already this season.
Going to be tough to run on the Blue Jays. Jay Happ gets rid of the ball very quickly, and Luke Maley's got a very strong arm.
Luke has worked hard all spring long on his throwing and his catching. He also worked hard to get to know his pitching staff a little more effectively. We mentioned he made just 36 starts a year ago. Adam Engel's made some adjustments with his batting stance. He used to hold the bat high over his shoulder. He's kind of dropped it right around his chest this year, trying to be a little more consistent.
Feels like that's going to help him get to the ball. He had a good spring. Feels like his swing is a little bit shorter right now.
He hit 166 a year ago. So obviously there is room for improvement.
Yeah, and he knows that too. He says, I feel really good at the plate right now. This spring I was able to hit the ball all over the place. I feel shorter. I'm seeing the ball a little bit better now too. 2-1 count, nobody out. You got a fast runner over at first base. White Sox might try something.
Not going here. It's up and away for a ball. 3-1 now.
Tim Anderson, the runner over at first base, does something really interesting with that front foot when he's getting ready to steal and get ready. He really opens up his toes towards second base. That really helps him get his hips into his first step. You can see him open up. You can see that. That helps him to get that first step over if he's going to try and steal.
Anderson had a 49 stolen base season in 2015 in Birmingham in the minors. Last year he was 15 for 16. He has recorded 10 straight stolen bases.
Clears those hips just a fraction of a second quicker.
Not running. Up and away for ball 4. First 2 reach here in the second. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Tyler Saladino getting his first start of the season. He's at third base this evening. He is a very good utility player, can play all around the diamond. He squares to bunt and takes it high. Well, right at the end of the strike zone for a strike 1. Top of the strike zone.
Blue Jays were playing him for the bunt. The corners are in. It looks like they have the #1 bunt play on. That's Happ's going to crash towards the third base line. Smoke at first base is going to charge straight in, and Donaldson's going to read the bunt.
They put a pickoff play on at second, and Anderson dives back in. No throw from Happ. Now Donaldson's really interesting in his position, and Rick Renteria has the White Sox play in the fundamentals game. There's Donaldson. You can see his body's angled so he can get a good look at Anderson taking his lead off second. Ball in the dirt.
Donaldson did an interesting thing before that first pitch was thrown by Jay Happ. They're anticipating the bunt. Now normally a third baseman will give the bunt signs and let everybody know what play is on. But he also got the attention of his shortstop Diaz and said, hey, listen, if there's a hard bunt to me, I'm going to come to you at second base. Try and get that back runner. If they do bunt it and they bunt it sharply to him, maybe you can turn 2.
Saladino did not turn and square to bunt on that last pitch. Swinging away, fouls it off. Rick Renteria, long-time minor league manager, big league coach in San Diego, got an opportunity the first time to manage the Cubs, and then was let go when Joe Madden became available.
Now the infield, you see the shot there, the overhead. They're going to move back now with 2 strikes. This is where Jay's little split change can help him. He just splits his fingers and throws it, takes a little something off of it, and gets a downward movement, gets his share of ground ball outs with it.
You talk about pitchers gaining experience. That's been a new wrinkle for Jay Happ, and a very good one. Creating movement, getting some ground balls. He had been a straight fly ball pitcher most of his career. Oh, he comes back and gets a big strikeout. Saladino strikes out first out of the inning. Third strikeout for Happ, and he goes upstairs with that good fastball.
Boy, what a good fastball. Threw that one right by him. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. Gets on top of that fastball and drives it right past Saladino.
Donaldson even with the bag at third. Nicky Delmonico, left-handed hitter, had 3 bunt base hits last year. Not thinking bunt on that first pitch. He can run as well. We talked about all the good athletes in this lineup. Anderson, Engel, and Nicky Delmonico can really run.
Got a little pop, too, in 43 games last year. He had 9 home runs.
Fouls that one off his foot.
You know, the one thing that I've been impressed with Jay Happ as we have watched him, I guess this could be called the Jay Happ 2.0, the second time through with the Blue Jays, is when he finds himself into these types of situations here. Couple of runners on, nobody out. In the past, he would try and power his way through the at-bat and try and get through the inning that way. Now I think he has learned how to take a little something off with that split change. He can cut the ball now a little bit better than he did when he was younger. He just has more weapons, and he can finesse his way through innings now.
Well, and he used to agonize over each and every pitch, trying to be perfect with each pitch, and now he understands. Just commit to the pitch, let it go, and turn the page once it's gone. 1-2 to Delmonico. Base hit up the middle. Anderson's going to come in to score. On the play, Ingo goes first to third. Delmonico knocks in the first run of the ball game. It's his first hit of the season and his first RBI.
Not a bad idea with the pitch that they went with. He just missed his spot. Having trouble locating it right now. 92 miles an hour. You can see that's about thigh high out over the plate. Delmonico rips it to center. Here's the game's first run.
Well, bottom of the order produces the first run for Chicago. 2 hits in the inning, a run across. Engel drew the walk. He's now at third. Top of the order. Yohan Moncada goes after the first pitch. He struck out on a good sinker down and away his first time up.
Another one of those good young players. They got him from the Boston Red Sox, part of that Chris Sale trade. They've put him in the lineup. They put him at the top of the lineup to lead off, and he's really responded.
He can swing it. Switch hitter, as we mentioned. The interesting thing about him, 21 years old. Boy, that's a heck of a player. You've got control of him for a long time. You give up a lot in Chris Sale, but you get a lot in return.
Yeah, he's just a piece of that, and he's just scratching the surface also. 18 runs scored this spring.
Happ gets a strikeout. Second strikeout of the inning, fourth of the ball game. We mentioned Happ had 19 strikeouts in 2 starts last year against Chicago.
Yes, four-seamed him. Four-seam fastball. You can see the backspin as he throws that one by Moncada. Now you got to be careful with Garcia on the first pitch.
He had a first pitch base hit his first time up. As Pat mentioned, he had over 500 on the first pitch last year.
6 of his 18 home runs came on the first pitch last year. Be careful.
Got it inside. Swung right through it. Don't you like that approach? Aggressive. That first pitch might be the best one you get all night.
Of the whole at bat, that might be your best, especially with runners on base and guys in scoring position.
He went after it. Happ's ahead, 0-2.
So if you're Jay Happ, you know that, so you can use that to your advantage. You can expand now with 2 strikes. Maybe go up and away. If you have confidence in throwing the ball in the dirt that your catcher's going to block it, you can go there too.
Oh, 2. 2 on, 2 outs. He got him. Jay Happ strikes out the side. He has 5 strikeouts through 2 innings, but the White Sox cash in. Nicky Delmonico, his first hit of the season, gives Chicago a 1-0 lead.
Challenger Baseball taught Ivania to go for it and dream big. Now look who's Manitoba's Challenger Baseball Player of the Year. Stay tuned all season long for more stories of how the Blue Jays brand is acting as a catalyst to inspire positive social change from coast to coast to coast. Visit jayscare.com/unstoppablekids to learn more. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Jays Care doing a terrific job giving those kids hope and dreams of pursuing things they never knew they could accomplish. Ever Solarte, the cleanup hitter, he's 3 for 16. He has a double and a home run, driven in a pair.
showing off his versatility tonight. He did a great job at third base while Josh was DHA. Now he gets a shot at second base. He's played all over the infield. John Gibbons said he's not afraid to play him in the outfield also, if they need to. I'll tell you what, he can swing the bat too.
He can really swing the bat, and he just loves to hit. He's actually made 2 starts in left field in his big league career. He started 14 games at shortstop, 28 at first base. His natural position is third. That's where he's played the most. Kind of had a rough spring. Hit just 196 in the spring, and that ball just missed the inside corner.
He'll move the ball around. Gonzalez, very smooth delivery. He's got good stuff. Nothing's going to just wow you, if you will. Just fastball, slider, sinker, little split change.
He's had an interesting career. As Pat mentioned, he's 33 years old. He was born in Guadalajara, Mexico, grew up in Southern California. The Angels signed him originally in December of 2004 as a non-drafted free agent. And then the Boston Red Sox took him in the Rule 5 draft in 2008. Then Boston released him in 2011. Driven in the alley in right center. That's going to get down, and it bounces off the wall. Solarte's headed for second, and he will get there with a leadoff double. His second double of the season.
He really waited back on that off-speed pitch from Gonzalez nicely. You got to wait when you recognize that pitch and keep your hands back. Just enough, kept them back long enough to get the barrel on the bat and get it into the outfield for extra bases. He was thinking 3 right there, and that said, you know what? Down by a run, I'm leading off. I'll stay with the double.
They mentioned that the White Sox play very shallow in the outfield because they can run. That time it cost him. It split the defenders and went all the way to the wall in right center. This is Randal Grichuk. Grichuk just 2 for 15. He's hit a home run. We mentioned the Blue Jays have 7 different players that have homered so far this season. That's the most in the majors.
I don't know if we can call them a home run hitting team right now, that they're stacked with home run hitters. But the home runs that they have had so far, I think, are a byproduct of good at-bats. Brooke Jacoby was saying today, he goes, you know, we're really not a home run hitting team. We have guys who have hit home runs in the past, but we're not a home run hitting team. We're getting good pitches to hit, and we're not missing them.
0-2. Grichuk showing a lot of patience and much better strike zone awareness than he's had earlier in his career.
He had a reputation when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals that he was a free swinger. I haven't seen that.
I talked to him about that today. He had a couple of walks in the game last night. Ground ball. Good job by Grichuk. He moves Solarte over to third. Another good 2-strike approach by a Blue Jays hitter. The Blue Jays have scored 13 of their 19 runs via the home run this season. It's a trend that started a year ago.
Started a year ago where they led the major leagues in runs via the home run. Percentage of runs from home runs since the start of last season. They were #1 last year. They're #1 again this season. But if you can manufacture run, they've got some guys who can run a little bit this year. Grichuk can run a little bit. You start putting the ball in play. That was a very good at bat by Grichuk. It was a fastball away, just hit it to the right side of the infield. Now the infield has to come in about halfway.
This is interesting early in the ball game, the way the infield is. The right side of the infield, Abreu and Moncada are playing in. Anderson is short also, but they're not really in at the grass. It's kind of a double play situation.
Yeah, they're halfway. respecting the bat of Morales, thinking that he's going to hit the ball hard. I think they feel that if the ball's hit right at him, they still have a chance to get Solarte at the plate.
Morales has had hit problems hitting against the starter, Miguel Gonzalez. He's just 1 for 15 for his career, but that one hit was a home run. He's the only Blue Jay in this lineup that has a homer against Gonzalez. Boy, you better be careful throwing him that fastball. He can get on a fastball.
I thought that was just for show. Just show him the fastball on the inside part of the plate and then try another splitter or something like that. You know at some point he's going to be getting something off speed.
Gonzalez ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Coming back in there. Now Gonzalez, if he's going to miss inside with the fastball, it's going to be off the plate.
Yeah, I think the pitch that he hit down the right field line was supposed to be where this one was, just for show. They're going to want to get him out with something soft, something off speed.
Morales hit .298 last year against the fastball, .202 against the breaking ball. Looked like he cut it inside, but again, he missed and it was off the plate, but Morales with 2 strikes had to protect.
Too close to take. You might see it here. You might see some kind of little splitter.
Good take by Morales. Remember, Morales is wearing glasses for the first time in his career. He's had some trouble with his right eye especially, but he's been very pleased with the way he's been able to pick up the breaking ball, and he laid off a tough curveball on that last pitch.
Solarte can get off at third base. Get off as far as that third baseman is and read anything on the ground. Even though they're halfway, he can score on a grounder.
Morales strikes out. Another breaking pitch, and that's the second out of the inning.
You knew at some point it was coming, especially with 2 strikes. There's the split grip from Gonzalez, just trying to get some kind of side rotation or tumbling rotation away to get Morales to swing at it. It's a big out.
Kevin Pillar batting with a man at third and 2 outs. Pillar's off to a good start this season. Breaking ball missed upstairs. Jay Happ has a terrific relationship with the pitching coach, Pete Walker. Having a chat on the bench. Kevin, 6 for 16 so far this season. He has a double. He's also homered. Solarte with the leadoff double, now at third base with 2 outs. Well, I had a couple of pitches to hit up in the zone, out over the middle.
Now you just look for the baseball. He's been locked in, I think, all spring long. Been hitting the ball back through the middle with authority, hitting the ball the other way with authority. Last season was not real successful hitting with runners in scoring position, but his approach right now suggests he's going to be okay.
1-2. Breaking ball hit, but right to the shortstop. Anderson with a strong arm, and the Blue Jays can't cash in with the leadoff double. They leave a runner at third. Chicago has a 1-0 lead early on.
Learning about new pitchers and American League hitters' tendencies when he's on defense. During the Yankees series, we saw another AL newcomer, Giancarlo Stanton, use notes to help him with positioning. Outfield coach Tim Leeper told me he offered to do the same for Grichuk, but the right fielder politely declined, preferring more personal interaction for information. Leeper loves that Grichuk is so engaged, always looking at Kevin Pillar or into the dugout for guidance. When Grichuk is unsure of anything, Leeper said they've got a signal. Grichuk shakes his glove hand, which prompts Leeper up onto the top step of the dugout. Leeper reminded me that this is a change for him as well, because for years, Jose Bautista, who is so familiar with American League hitters, positioned himself. He was the field general out there. Leeper did say that he enjoyed getting to know Grichuk at camp, not just as a player, but as a person as well. That personal relationship, Buck, as you know, helps with the working relationship as well.
Well, it sure does. And all of the outfielders all spring long really had a great chemistry. They were constantly talking about defensive positioning. Tim Leeper was there, and he had an assistant who was pretty good. Devon White was there helping him out in the outfield. But Leeper has been very pleased with the work he's gotten from his outfielders.
Basically, you play off the center fielder, and Pillar has been around for a number of years, and he knows all the hitters now in the American League. So I think if you have any questions, just look to the guy next to you. If you're a corner outfielder, Pillar will tell you where to play.
Well, it's an adjustment for Grichuk. Not only is he in a new league playing for a new team, but last year he played 50 games in right field. That's the most he's ever played in right. He's a natural center fielder. That's where he's done most of his work. 1-2 to Abreu. Breaking ball. Hit him in the back foot, and he'll go to first. Jay Happ threw him a curveball and broke down and in, and that's the epitome of a back foot breaking ball.
Yeah, a little bit too far that time against Abreu. Curveball just keeps tracking right off the back foot. He's had some big strikeout games against these White Sox, especially his last 3. Going for one here, we just held on to it a little bit too long.
So leadoff man's aboard here in the third. Matt Davidson called out on strikes. A 3-2 fastball caught the inside corner. It was the second out of the top of the first. Back to Happ. Solarte at second, returned to first in time. Well, the Blue Jays have done a terrific job. That's the 9th double play they have turned so far this season.
Well, I told you that Jay Happ's been getting his share of ground balls now, but watch how he catches this one. He's already known that the second baseman's going to take over. He just takes his time. There's the little crow hop, and he makes a good throw to second base. Before you even throw that pitch, you find out who's going to be covering on a comebacker. The important thing is he took a lot of time to finish off that double play.
One of those double plays was started by Curtis Granderson in the 6th inning. He doubled up Abreu trying to advance from first to second. Jay Happ did not turn a double play all season long a year ago.
Even with all those ground balls? I like how he just took his time. He knew who was running. He knew he had some time. Threw a strike to second base.
Another example of how experience allows you to slow everything down. Solarte turned it easily at second. He's making his first start at second base. Wellington Castillo. Good movement on that fastball. Castillo grounded out to third. His first time up. Called strike 3 on Castillo. Happ with another strikeout. 6 strikeouts through 3 innings for Jay Happ. He's commanded that inside fastball very effectively early in this game.
Blue Jays action sitting inside the TD zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. And it all starts next week. 16 wins, a 2-month grind, all for the Cup. The 2018 Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC and Sportsnet begins April 11th.
One of the most iconic trophies in all of sports, the Stanley Cup. And they will be fighting for that Stanley Cup, and it all begins in about a week and a half. 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays. Luke Maile takes an inside fastball popped out of the glove of Castillo. Maile 1 for 3 in his season debut, picked up an RBI single.
That was off a breaking ball in his last start against the Yankees. Gave the Blue Jays the lead.
Rips this one down the left field line. It's going to go up against the wall. Maile with a big turn. Now Monaco had a little trouble picking it up off the warning track, and Luke has a leadoff double. His first extra base hit of the season.
Luke has been working on getting set a little bit earlier and starting his swing just a little bit earlier so he can catch the ball out in front. He's ahead in the count, 1-0. He gets a 4-seam fastball. You can see how the body was moving as the ball was on the way. A lot of body movement to get that bat head out and through for extra bases.
Luke's a big guy, and he should be able to hit a few home runs. Aledmus Diaz, he's had a homer this season. Came in a game last night.
Blue Jays had the leadoff double last inning and could not score him. Another leadoff double here in the third. Bring him around.
Diaz was robbed of a base hit in the 6th inning in last night's game. He had a hot one-hopper to the third baseman, Sanchez, who made a nice play on it. Swinging a drive. Get up, ball! Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Now that was Diaz, and the Blue Jays continue to pound out the home runs.
You know, when you watch him swing, you can see how he hit those 17 home runs a few years ago, and you can see some power in that swing. What a great feeling that is. Your first time up, hitting a 2-run home run, give your team the lead in the 3rd inning. They weren't trying to move the runner. They were trying to drive that runner in.
Early in the game, turn him loose. Back to the top of the order. Granderson takes a breaking ball for a strike.
It didn't work last inning, moving the runner. This time they said, we're going to drive him in. Slider out in front, and he really catches that ball in a sweet spot.
"17 home runs 2 years ago, an all-star season with the Cardinals."
When you watch him swing, you can see there's a little juice to his swing. It's got some power.
Got on the inside corner. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Curtis Granderson. Nobody out of here in the bottom of the 3rd. Fly ball to center. Engel can really run. He closes ground quickly and makes a nice running catch. 1 away.
Here's what I mean about that power. You can see it's a short stroke. He picks up his leg and puts it right back down where it started. So he's not overcommitting and getting his body out in front of him. His swing will bring him forward. The hands stay back. And of course, Solarte with the dance.
He's been dancing a lot lately.
A lot lately with all the home runs the Blue Jays have been hitting.
Jays have homered in the first 6 games of the season. Donaldson with a home run cut. Splitter grounded to third. Saladino takes his time. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Chris Sale on the mound for Boston. No walks, 6 strikeouts through 5 innings. Marlins, Jose Urena. He too is pitching very well. A young right-hander, 26 years old. Justin Smoke. He popped out to the third baseman his first time up. 2 away. It's a 1-1 game. Excuse me, it's a 2-1 game. A leadoff double by Maile, cashed in by Diaz.
They're getting their runs via the home run. I think it's just a matter of time before they start collecting hits in bunches and start scoring runs that way, but we'll take it.
Splitter right at the bottom of the strike zone. Blue Jays have now scored 21 runs. 15 have come in on the home run.
John Gibbons will take the home runs right now until everybody warms up collectively.
Good take by Smoke. He laid off that inside fastball. It's now 3-1.
What's been impressive is the at-bats. You don't see a lot of wild swings. You see guys who are under control and they're going to take what the pitcher gives them.
Off the plate inside for ball 4. 2-out walk issued by Gonzalez. That's the first walk he's surrendered.
And that's a great example of it right there. It looked like Smoke was looking for something out over the plate and wasn't going to budge until he got one. So he'll calmly take that walk and head to first.
And there was Solarte. Hit a double up the gap in right center. But he was stranded on base. That was back in the second. Little flare off the bat. That's going to drop for a base hit. Smoke's going to go to third. Big high bounce. Smoke did a nice job of reading that. Javier Garcia, very good right fielder with a strong arm, but he had to wait for that high bounce to come down, and Smoke went first to third.
Yeah, with 2 outs, you're running on anything if you're Smokey. That cutter looked like it got in on the hands of Solarte. He fights it off, and Smoke just takes off with 2 outs. He doesn't even need a coach. He knows where that ball is going to bounce into the outfield, how high it's going to bounce, so he can make it to third base easily. Now they're starting to string those hits together.
3 hits in the inning and a walk. Brando Gritchett grounded out to second base. Diaz with his second home run in as many games. 2 outs. Nice block by Castillo on that splitter in the dirt. Blue Jays trying to make it 4 wins in a row tonight. Upstairs 2-0. Jay Happ has 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. Something he's come accustomed to pitching against the White Sox.
35 and 32 innings in his career. He'd like to sit over there a little bit longer, see if the Blue Jays can score some more runs for him.
Grichuk checks his swing and taps it foul.
I think as Randall goes through this league a little bit longer, I think he's going to find out that American League pitchers, they don't give in 2-0. They don't throw you a fastball 2-0. It's not a given. Over in the National League, maybe. They might challenge you a little bit more over in the National League. Over here, small ballparks, longer lineups, you're getting breaking balls.
Pulled to short, and Anderson drops it. A run comes in as Smoke crosses home plate. It's 3-1 Blue Jays. Anderson went after that very awkwardly. Looked like it had topspin on it, kind of like he swatted it to the ground.
He went after it with two hands. Much better and a lot easier if you go after that ball with just one hand. It frees up your whole left side to field the baseball. It's a 2-1 slider. He hits it into the dirt to the shortstop, and watch him go after it with two hands. 28 errors last season. See how the two hands are right there? He's got time to just field that ball with the backhand, one hand. You're freer with your hand, catch it, and he's got plenty of arm to throw it across the diamond, but the Blue Jays will take it.
Air charge to the shortstop allows Smoke to come in to score. 3-run inning for the Blue Jays. Luke Maile got it started with a leadoff double. Aledmus Diaz cashed him in with a 2-run home run. And then 2 outs later, walk, single, and an error. Kendrys Morales struck out on a splitter his first time up. Curveball missed. You wouldn't expect Gonzalez to throw a fastball in the strike zone in this at bat.
I don't. Not to a power hitter like Morales. Maybe off the plate again, just for show on the inside part. You're going to see a lot of those, I think. Slow curveballs and splitters down in the strike zone.
Morales has to battle here. Big at bat, chance to add to their lead. Solarte at second, Grichuk at first. Cut fastball, now it's 1-2.
Struck out last time again on a slow pitch down and away. It's been a long inning for Miguel Gonzalez. Probably going to see that off-speed pitch here.
Gonzalez never took his eyes off of the catcher. He wasn't concerned about the base runner, and he didn't like that pitch selection. He wanted a new pitch.
Yeah, try instead of stepping off and going through the signs again, he just held on to the ball.
Cutter inside. 2-2 now. You saw Castillo going through a lot of different touches before he flashed the fingers. That can be a set of signs on the outside. That can be an indicator. You can touch a spot, shin guard, chest protector, mask, now down to the signals. Everybody's protecting their pitch selection.
With that runner out at second base so they don't steal their signs.
2-2 pitch. Now it's a full count.
But you can still give location if the catcher moves up and sets up too fast.
Hervé Solarte had his second hit of the ball game. He's now at second. Grichuk reached on an air. Full count to Morales, 2 outs. Blue Jays have scored 3 here in the bottom of the third to take a 3-1 lead. Miguel Gonzalez has thrown a lot of pitches this inning. There go the runners. Ground ball. Moncada right on the edge of the dirt. Throws out Morales, but the damage is done. Luke Maile got it started with the leadoff double. Aledmus Diaz, his second home run, a 2-run shot. Diaz has homered in the last 2 games. This one a no-doubter to left. Jay Happ has a 3-1 lead.
Fans break baseball's toughest record, the legendary 56-game hitting streak. Pick up to 2 players who you think will get a hit. Get a hit, and your streak continues. Be the first to reach 57 games and win $5.6 million. Download the Beat the Streak app today. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. That's an interesting contest, Beat the Streak. And a lot of people really think they know the game, but boy, it's a tough thing to do.
We've tried playing that in the past.
Pick a hitter to get a hit every night for 56 straight games.
I think we get to like 5 or 6 and then we succumb to it and have to start all over.
Tim Anderson leads things off and drives it high in the air to right. Grichuk's on the run at the track, at the wall, and that one is gone. Tim Anderson hit a pair of home runs on opening day. He has his 3rd home run of the season, and just like that, it's a 3-2 ball game.
He hit 17 home runs last year at 24 years old, the youngest shortstop in White Sox history to hit double-digit home runs. That's his 3rd one already this year. He has got some power. That time the other way. That's a cutter. That ball is cutting away, but it's up a little bit too much for Jay's liking, and it just gets out of here.
Young hitters that understand they can hit the ball out to the opposite field become dangerous. That's off the end of the bat. Solarte to his left. Engels retired, went away. Tim Anderson with his 3rd home run goes the other way against Jay Happ.
You can see how quick his swing is. So I think he's just going to improve. 17 home runs last year. I think you can mark him down for 20 for sure. There's a lot of.
He hits in a good ballpark too.
Oh boy, does he ever. In Chicago, there are a lot of good hitting shortstops in the American League. Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts.
Manny Machado.
Yeah, he's a shortstop this year. We can make him a shortstop.
He is a shortstop indeed.
D.T. Gregorius in New York, the Semien kid in
Oakland.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrelton Simmons. I mean, the list goes on and on. Elvis Andrews in Texas, who we're going to see. Lindor in Cleveland. I mean, it's amazing how many good hitting shortstops there are in the American League.
Many years ago, shortstop was a pure defensive position, but then we had that influx of Nomar Garcia-Parra, Alex Rodriguez, and Derek Jeter all about the same time, and they kind of changed the profile. Yep. I guess you could say it kind of started in the American League with Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken. That's where it started for me in 1982 when he was a rookie. Big shortstops who could hit. It has become an offensive position.
Tyler Saladino making his first start of the season as a strikeout victim in the 2nd. He is a strikeout victim here in the 4th. That cutter gets the outside corner. 7 strikeouts for Jay.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Downtown Toronto, a good shot of City Hall. Here is Nicky Delmonico. Had an RBI single his first time up. He drove in the first run of the ball game, his first RBI of the season. Make sure that cutter to the inside that time. Ball on a strike on the White Sox left fielder.
He must feel comfortable hitting against Jay Happ. I thought he might try a bunt here. 2 outs, nobody on.
You know what has really improved with Happ is he's gained more experience and become a very effective pitcher. He's working a lot quicker.
That just shows confidence that you can finish off hitters.
The appeal down to Jordan Baker at third. He rings up Delmonico. Another strikeout for Happ. He's got 8 strikeouts through 4 innings. And the Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Anderson with his 3rd home run of the season. The Yankees had their home opener delayed by a game, and they didn't waste any opportunities today. They won 11-4 over Tampa Bay in their home opener. There'll be Yankee baseball tomorrow here on Sportsnet. It all starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Luis Severino, their opening day starter this year right here at Rogers Center, will go up against the left-hander Blake Snell for Tampa Bay. D.D. Gregorius, what a day he had. Talk about good hitting shortstops, Pat. You were right on cue.
11-4 they won. He drove in 8 today.
8. The league leader had 8 for the season going into action today. Now Gregorius has 8. He was 4 for 4, 3 runs scored, 8 RBIs.
I know he had 2 3-run home runs.
That'll do it.
That'll get you started.
Kevin Pillar broke his bat. It'll be the bottom third of the Blue Jays batting order. Kevin Pillar, Luke Maile, and Aledmus Diaz. Maile had a leadoff double his last time up, and he scored on the 2-run home run by Diaz. Chris Archer didn't have any fun against the Yankees. He lasted just 5 innings, charged with 4 earned runs on 6 hits. Bouncing ball foul.
Played in some rain today in New York. They were snowed out yesterday, and they got some rain today. It was actually delayed by 15 minutes, the start of that game. So normally that's good for the pitchers in that kind of weather.
Broken bat up the middle. Pillar cost him 2 bats this at bat, but he gets a base hit.
Yeah, he'll take it. He'll trade those 2 bats, broken bats, for a base hit. Boy, he fought off that inside fastball from Miguel Gonzalez. Tried to run it back in there. Watch Pillar just fight it off. He hits it off the label. But he puts it in a good spot right back through the middle. He's now 1 for 2.
A piece of wood flying up the third baseline, but Pillar will take that base hit. That's his 7th hit of the season. Luke Maile, we mentioned he doubled his first time up. Boy, isn't it great? A guy that has never hit much in his career. Maile has a couple of hits in his first 2 starts of the season. In fact, you know, every hitter wants to get off to a good start. And Maile had an RBI single in his first start. He's doubled and scored here in his second.
And that's what you're hoping for if you're the backup catcher. Call a good game, get a win, help your pitcher through the game, and then whatever you can do offensively, I think, is a bonus.
Another good hack.
And I think, you know, when you hit down in the lineup like he does, you're going to get yourself some fastballs. I think you'd be ready for the fastball and hit it.
Luke's a big guy. He should hit a few home runs, as we've mentioned, and I think a lot of it has to do just gaining some confidence and having the freedom to swing it.
Yeah, and start that swing a little early and catch it out in front.
Pillar with 3 stolen bases. Of course, they all came in 1 inning against the Yanks. Catcher Luke Maley behind 0-2.
Just keeping him close. Maybe he's thinking about throwing a breaking ball now with 2 strikes to Maley, so he wants to keep Pilar a little bit closer in case he tries to steal on the breaking ball.
Castillo, the catcher, led the American League in caught stealing percentage last year. He's got a cannon for an arm. Not running here. And Maley strikes out. Just the second strikeout of the ball game for Gonzalez. Now he's checking with his middle infielders to make sure he understands who's covering the bag.
John Gibbons has been known to hit and run in this situation here. You got a guy who can run at first base, a guy who can handle the bat at the plate.
Diaz has homered in his last 2 at-bats. Homered in the 8th inning in last night's game. He homered in the 3rd inning last time up. Pilar is not running. Pulled foul. Diaz is from Cuba, as is Kendrys Morales. There are 17 players born in Cuba in the major leagues to start this season. There are 2 Cuban players on the White Sox team. Yohan Moncada, the second baseman, and the first baseman, Jose Abreu. Oh, 1. Driven to right. This ball's got some carry. Garcia's not going to get it. Up against the wall. Pilar's being waved around third. And there'll be no throw. The throw goes to third, and they will tag out Diaz. But Pilar comes in to score on the RBI double by Aledmus Diaz. 3 extra base hits in his last 3 at-bats.
The outfield might want to take a couple of steps back next time Diaz comes to the plate, because he is hitting some balls hard into the outfield. This ball is going to get over the head of Garcia, the right fielder, and watch when it hits up against the wall. It just sticks to the wall right there, and Garcia's got to go to the wall, dig it out, and get it back in. That's going to give Pilar a chance to score from first. Diaz sees it because the play is right in front of him, tries to pick up an extra 90 feet, and he's gunned down.
Curtis Granderson 0 for 2 so far. Blue Jays now lead it again 4-2, 2-run lead. They have out-hit the White Sox 6-5. Strike right at the knees. Kevin Pilar with a broken bat single. Scores all the way from first. One and 2 to Granderson. No swing on the appeal. Jordan Baker, the ump, down at third.
I think that was more of the foot given away by Granderson and not a swing. You can see he gives away, and he looks right away at the umpire. Says, no, that's not a swing.
That's a swing driven toward the alley in right center, and it's off the glove of Engel. Granderson around second. He's headed for third. Here's the throw, not in time. The White Sox might want to back up a step or 2 in the outfield. Engel, a terrific defender, may have knocked the wind out of himself when he hit the turf here. But the Blue Jays have hit it over the outfielders' heads here in the inning.
We noticed that in last night's game, how shallow he plays out in center field. He is shading Granderson towards right field. Off-speed pitch, and Grandy puts a charge into it. Engel runs, and then it glances off of his glove, and he hit that turf hard. Looked like maybe his shoulder right there buckled underneath him when he went for it. As soon as it went off of his glove, you can see it bends back awkwardly. Granderson can make it to third base.
For Granderson, that's his 93rd career triple. He led the league twice in triples while playing for the Tigers. Josh Donaldson.
Well, it doesn't surprise me when you say that the Tigers, 440 center field at Comerica Park, and he's got enough power to get it out there. Plays right in front of him. He notices that that ball again is up against the wall, and a dive into third base. He's got his first triple as a Blue Jay.
Granderson led the American League with 23 triples in 2007. Good cut by Donaldson. Curtis also led the American League the next year in 2008. He had 13. The Blue Jays lead it. Bottom of the fourth inning. That's going to reach the seats out of play. Granderson had one of the best seasons ever offensively in 2007. He hit 38 doubles, 23 triples, 23 home runs, and drove in 74.
Wow. Wow. He was a leadoff hitter at one point, wasn't he?
And he hit 302. Terrific season. Boy, that's a classic block by Wellington Castillo. Played right off his chest protector.
Yeah. Emphasis on block. Just trying to block it, not trying to catch it. He knows it's a splitter and there's a chance it's going to be in the dirt, so he just smothers that ball.
Just foul wide of third. Josh has grounded out to the pitcher. He's also grounded out to third. He has homered in 4 straight games against the White Sox. He's hit a total of 10 home runs in his previous 23 games against Chicago.
He's not there yet. He's getting closer. You can tell that the timing is coming around slowly but surely.
High drive to left field. Get up, ball, get up, and he's done it again. 5 straight games with a home run for Donaldson against the White Sox.
I watched him take batting practice the other day, and he was hitting missiles off the center field wall. Brooke Jacoby said today, hey, he's getting close. His timing is coming around. And with that home run, it looked like a splitter that stayed on the inside part of the plate. With that home run, the Blue Jays have hit for the cycle this inning. They've put up a 3-spot.
Pilar singled, Diaz doubled, Granderson tripled, and now Donaldson homers. 6-2 Blue Jays. Ground ball. That's the third baseman, Saladino, making the play behind second. That'll end the inning. The Blue Jays get 3 more runs. Donaldson with his second of the season. It's 6-2 Blue Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio. Josh Donaldson homered last night. He's homered again tonight. This time it's a 2-run home run, and it's a split finger pitch.
Yeah, it showed him a couple of fastballs inside and then tried to throw a splitter inside, and Josh gets that timing down perfectly. Gets the front foot down, pulls his hands in. He's got enough to get it out of here. It's always a good sign when one night he's hitting a home run down the right field line, the next night he's homering down the left field line. Means he's staying on the ball and he's seeing it.
And there is Solarte. His legs are going to be tired.
He's playing on a team now that's hitting some home runs.
Oh, nice play by Donaldson. He took the short hop, came after it. He got in between and said, you know what, I got to get after this one. And he came and got the short hop, made a nice play of it.
Yeah, and he knew who was running too. Moncada could really run down that line. If there's a little bit of indecision down there at third base, you're going to not make this play. And it's always better, I think, to be aggressive and come after that ball and just smother it on the short hop like Josh does and finishes off that play.
Look, he's going back initially thinking, I got to give some ground, but he realized it was going to be a real tough hop, and he came and got it. Well, that's a good sign there, having him back at third. He made a very confident throw across the infield as well. There's a high drive. That one's going to go. Javier Garcia hits it above the Budweiser sign in deep center field. Garcia's first home run of the season. Second home run for the White Sox tonight. They get one back here in the top of the fifth.
Homered last inning by Anderson, and Garcia got all of that one. And I know pitchers know when they give up home runs. They can sense it, they can feel it, they can hear it. And watch Jay Happ's reaction after this one. He knew it.
He didn't even have to turn around. Garcia's first homer of the season comes with one out here in the top half of the fifth. They mentioned Garcia led the majors last year in batting average against lefty pitching. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Jose Abreu has singled and he was hit by a pitch. He has 4 hits in the series. Up the middle, Diaz makes a nice play. In time, Abreu's retired. Diaz showing some range.
Let's throw a star next to that one. That ball was skidding along the turf. Never came up for Diaz, so he had to stay down. There he is straight away at shortstop. Gets a good break on the ball. Smothers it and finishes it off at first.
Diaz has a strong arm. Gets his balance, gathers himself, and throws out Abreu. Nice play at third by Donaldson. Another good play at short by Diaz. Matt Davidson's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That riding fastball difficult for hitters to catch up to. Hector Santiago, one of 3 lefties in the White Sox bullpen, loosening up. Jay Happ, his second start of the season. He went 4 2/3 in the season opener, his first opening day start of his career. that's out of play down the right side.
He's got that unique ability to spin the baseball. So he'll pick up his share of strikeouts with that elevated fastball. He's got 8 more tonight against the White Sox. His last 4 games against Chicago in the strikeout column, 8, 9, 10, and now 8 more.
Another fastball, 95. The anger behind that last pitch. Jay threw 96 pitches in his season debut over the course of those 4 2/3 innings. He had 5 strikeouts against the Yankees. Another foul into the seats off the bat of Matt Davidson.
Took a little something off of that one. He might ride one of those high fastballs here.
Full count. Strike 3 called. Davidson caught looking. He doesn't agree with Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire. 9 strikeouts for Happ. But the White Sox get one back. Happ surrenders a home run to Avisail Garcia. Garcia's first home run of the season, but the Blue Jays still have a 3-run lead.
Night in the 6th is presented by TD. Start your night with the Blue Jays on Thursday, April 26th. The first 15,000 fans in attendance receive this Josh Donaldson t-shirt. Join us pregame in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. For tickets, as always, visit BlueJays.com.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Blue Jays set to bat in the bottom of the 5th with a 6-3 lead. And Eris Solarte's 2 for 2. Had a double in the second and a single in the third. Blue Jays have 8 hits.
Six of them for extra bases. You can just watch their at-bats. They're good. They're not overcommitting. They've only struck out 2 times tonight.
Kendrys Morales struck out in the second, and Luke Maile struck out in the 4th. 1-1. Little tapper toward third. Saladino throws off the run on the money, 1 away.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
It is a cold night in Toronto. The roof has been closed, of course, all season long. It was a cold afternoon in New York. The Yankees beat the Rays 11-4. Didi Gregorius went 4 for 4 and drove in 8. But Giancarlo Stanton didn't enjoy opening day as much as the rest of the Yanks. He struck out 5 times. 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. His first 5 strikeout game of his career. And the Yankee fans booed him.
Yeah, but Didi was hitting behind him and picked him up all afternoon.
Grichuk gets jammed and flares it foul down the third baseline. Welcome to New York, Mr. Stanton. He can handle it.
Yeah, he says he can handle it.
Yeah.
Right? He says, I can handle that.
Brando Grichuk reached on an air his last time up. It's caught looking at a fastball for strike 3. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 5th. 3 strikeouts so far for Gonzalez.
It's a case of looking for some kind of off-speed pitch and they cross you up. That's fastball right there. Good idea by Castillo, the catcher, to suggest fastball.
Nick Renteria talking to the pitching coach, Don Cooper, probably strategizing about their next move with the bullpen. Looking at the lineup, looking at matchups. Morales is 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
We saw Hector Santiago warming up in that pen. I like how the manager sticks with his starter. He's at 82 pitches. I think you got to just keep throwing him out there. You start running out of pitchers if you take your starter out after 4 or 5 innings.
Blue Jays have 6 runs on 8 hits. They've hit a pair of home runs off Gonzalez. And it's his first start of the season. Remember, they had their final game in Kansas City postponed because of weather. So, yeah, leave him out there. Let him get some innings under his belt.
Yeah, let him get into 90 or so pitches.
3-0 to Morales. Inside ball 4. Just the second walk issued by Gonzalez. Comes with 2 outs here in the 5th. Danny Barnes up and kicking at the pitching rubber. Looks like he has thrown, and now he's probably just standing by, waiting for Happ to go back out to start the inning, and then he'll resume throwing. Kevin Pillar 1 for 2, scored a run his last time up. Had a leadoff single in the 4th inning. The catcher, Wellington Castillo, has thrown a few more fastballs this inning than he did earlier in the game. You got to change it up. They're facing the lineup for the 3rd time. Give him a different look.
Yeah, he gave up the home run to Donaldson on a breaking ball. Diaz hit a home run off of a breaking ball earlier tonight. Solarte's had a hit off of an off-speed pitch. That's 3 straight fastballs.
A ball and 2 strikes on the Blue Jays center fielder. Pillar batting .389 so far this season. He is 7 for 18. Nothing like a good start to give you confidence.
Yeah. His first 2 months last year were really good.
Caught looking at another fastball right on the knees. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Gonzalez, 5 in the books, and Jay Happ has a 6-3 lead, looking for his first win of the season. Center, we move to the 6th inning. Jay Happ and the Blue Jays have a 6-3 lead, and now we're pleased to be joined by Joe Siddall, who has a different role this season. He's down there in the Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell. And give us your impression of Josh Donaldson tonight, first and foremost in the field.
Well, that's a lot better. We talked about it before the game up here, and we said, you know, it's one thing that he's in the lineup and back at third base. That was great news, but I'm going to hold out on my opinion until after the game, after I see him field some baseballs. But I thought he looked pretty good with those throws. Much improved from opening day.
Surprised they haven't bunted on him?
I am. We talked about it early too, Tabby, and I thought for sure with the speed in this White Sox lineup, at some point somebody might try to do it. The White Sox are just as aware of Donaldson's shoulder as we all are. They were out here early today too. They saw him DHing for a few days, and the fact that he was out here early taking ground balls. So yes, very surprised.
Castillo pops it up a mile high. Solarte stayed with it and catches it in center field. Aledmus Diaz has had big hits in his last 3 plate appearances. Homer double. Give me your thoughts on Diaz swinging the bat.
Well, it's a very good look from Aledmus Diaz. We all know how good of a year he had as a rookie with the Cardinals, and Blue Jays know this guy can hit. It's kind of like when they brought in both Solarte and Diaz. I don't want to say that they're just offensive players, but these are good big league hitters. Diaz had a tough year last year, and of course he had that thumb injury from previously to deal with. So you've got to expect that these guys are going to contribute offensively. I don't think they're necessarily going to be power hitters. in the lineup, but it's nice to see Diaz just coming around. And you guys know, you go to a new team, you want to make that good impression. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of the new guys, but it has to feel good to get a few extra base hits under his belt.
Joe, we were talking earlier today about the Blue Jays and their ability to hit home runs. Are you surprised at the amount of home runs they're hitting early, or what's up with that?
I am surprised because I don't think this is a team that we're going to look for the long ball like in 2015, a little bit in 16. I think there are guys in this lineup that are going to hit home runs, the Donaldsons, the Smokes, the Moraleses. Those guys, you expect it. But I think the other guys, where we saw Russ go deep, and Diaz now a couple of times, and Grandy's got some power, of course, too. Then you look at Randall Grichuk, who's hit over 20. But I think those guys are going to hit one on occasion. I don't think these are going to be 35 and 40 home run guys. So I just think this is a bit early to think that they're going to score all these runs via the home run. And that's okay, too, because, Brooke Jacoby said it best earlier today. He said, home runs really are the result of a good approach at the plate and getting a good pitch to hit. Those guys will find them once in a while, but more importantly than anything, approaches just like that at the plate is what works.
Tim Anderson picks up his second hit his third hit of the night. He has singled, homered, and now singled again. Anderson swinging a hot bat. Well, there's the call to the bullpen, Joe, as John Gibbons comes out. Jay Happ gets through 5 innings. The strikeout elevated his pitch count, and we're going to take a little break here, Joe. Stand by. Danny Barnes coming on to face Adam Engel. Danny Barnes into the ball game. He makes his team-leading 4th appearance of the season, and he takes over for Jay Happ, who goes 5 1/3. And we are joined by Joe Siddall from the Blue Jays Central staff. Give us your thoughts on Jay Happ tonight, Joe.
Well, I'm sure the pitch count spiked on him a little bit sooner than he wanted it to. He had trouble getting through those first couple of innings, but when you strike out 9 batters, your pitch count's going to get up there a little bit. Talked about his last outing against the Yankees, a team that tends to grind out at bats and make you spike your pitch count. I thought maybe he would have a little bit of an easier load tonight.
Anderson takes off. Strong throw by Maley, but not in time. Pat had talked about Anderson at first base opening up that right foot. That's 10 straight stolen bases for Tim Anderson.
He does that to get a good quick hip turn and bring that foot around. There's the foot open, and he's leaning towards second base. He gets a running start against Barnes. That's a straight steal. Really no chance for Maley or the Blue Jays to throw him out. His second stolen base this season.
10 straight for Anderson going back to last year. He was 15 of 16 in steal attempts a year ago. 1 out. Adam Engel, the center fielder. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Joe, this White Sox team, they've got some athletes on the field, and they can run a bit.
Can't you see the word rebuild here when you see teams like this, and you've heard the Blue Jays talk about moving into the future with more athletic and younger type players? And I think we all know that the way you do that, it starts down in the minor leagues with the draft, and then you have to develop those players. But I think that's where the Blue Jays are slowly getting. I think in the acquisition of a Solarte, for example, in the offseason, Grichuk, these guys that can play more than one position, some athleticism, those are good signs. But there are some kids coming up, and I think that's what we're going to be talking about over the next few years here in the Toronto Blue Jays.
Anderson takes off for third. Throw from Maley. And Donaldson's going to say his hand came off the bag, and Josh kept the glove on the left hand of Anderson. His momentum kind of pulled him off the bag momentarily, and the Blue Jays are going to have a look at it.
He quickly got that right hand back on there. It was an aggressive slide. It looked like the left hand grabbed the bag, and it did come off after Josh tagged it, but the right hand looked like it got back in there. Aggressively going to third base. Maley with a hard, strong throw. There's the left hand on. Knocks it off, but he didn't tag him. He knocked it off. There's the miss. Knocks it off there. It's still on, and now it's back on with the right hand, so he should be safe.
He tagged him while his hand was still on the base. Watch the left hand of Anderson. There's the tag. He was still on the base. Then he loses contact, but re-grabs it with his right hand. So his second steal in the inning. Ground ball to short. Diaz will have to hurry. Scooped by Smoke over at first. A run comes in as Anderson scores. A couple of stolen bases, and they manufacture a run and make it a 2-run game.
See, that's why I think the stolen base can be very important when you've got a guy who can run like Anderson. He did that one all by himself. Single, steals second, steals third, puts a little added pressure on the infield, a little harmless ground ball to shortstop. Plates a run for the White Sox.
First RBI of the season for Adam Engel. It's a 6-4 ball game. This is a pinch hitter. Elmer Sanchez, the starting third baseman. Sanchez started third last night. He was 0 for 1 officially, as he was hit by a pitch twice, walked and struck out. Tyler Saladino struck out in both of his plate appearances, and now he is lifted for the pinch hitter. Ball and a strike to the pinch hitter Sanchez. Tim Anderson's had a big night, 3 hits. He's scored 3 times, and he has a pair of stolen bases.
That'll finish off the night for Jay Happ. That run will be charged to Jay on the ground out.
On the ground, Diaz takes a short hop, fires wide at first base. Sanchez is aboard. Again, the speed of the White Sox putting pressure on the Blue Jays defense. He knew he had to unload in a hurry and threw wide at first.
And the manager, Rick Renteria, demands that they run hard down the line, and that's what they do. Put a little extra pressure on that infield. Don't give them any chances. You see Diaz look up very quickly to see where Sanchez is. The runner might have taken him by surprise just a little bit. Head down, look at that. Busting it on a routine ground ball to shortstop.
And then you saw him, after he crossed first base, look to the wall to see where the ball had bounced, just in case he had a chance to go to second. Nicky Delmonico goes after the first pitch.
That's the second throw from Diaz that's gone in the dirt like that. Smokey made a great pick on the previous one, and that's where we talked too about the middle of the infield defense here. With 3 of the 5 starting pitchers for the Blue Jays are extreme ground ball pitchers. That defense is going to have to tighten up.
Give good teams an extra out, they'd take advantage of it. That's Joe Siddle, who has joined us this half inning. Ball on his strike to Nicky Delmonico, the number 9 hitter.
This one looks like it's going to be on the bullpen. Joe, what's your first impressions of the bullpen this year?
Well, so far so good, and I think too because it's a diverse bullpen, and I like seeing somebody like John Axford called upon, the high velocity guy, a couple of times to get the middle of that Yankees lineup last series. And then you've got Tyler Clippard and Barnes kind of in this role right here. And I think it's going to be interesting to watch Seung-Won Oh, and I know he was late getting going in spring training, had the visa issues, so I'm sure Gibby would have liked to have started him off a little slowly here, but going to keep a close eye on him as well. I think with the veterans like this, when you bring in 3 veterans, Clippard and Axford and O, it's a wonderful thing to have that experience in the bullpen. These guys have all had tremendous success. They've all closed in the major leagues. Subpar years last season, but out of the 3 of them, you're hoping 1 or 2 of them really pans out to really help you, and if it's all 3, it's a big bonus.
One of them might have to close tonight. Osuna's pitched 3 out of the last 4 nights.
He only threw 8 pitches last night. It'll be interesting to see how they play it. 8 pitches, 8 strikes as Roberto picked up his second save of the season. 3-1 to Delmonico. Now it's a full count.
Ryan Tepera quietly off to a super start again here this season. Thought Ryan just built so much confidence last year, just becoming that reliable guy. And I think now coming to spring training this year, clear mind, he doesn't have to worry about riding the shuttle. A solid big league season last year, and I think the Blue Jays know exactly what they're going to get from him.
3-2, 2 outs. There goes Sanchez off the bag at first, and Barnes strikes out Delmonico. Joe Siddle, thanks very much for the time. Good to have you on board with television.
Thanks, guys.
6-4. Jay Happ still has the lead. Middle of the 6th. Miguel Gonzalez out of the game. His first start of the season. He throws 89 pitches over 5 innings. He allows 5 earned runs, 6 runs overall, 8 hits, walked a couple and struck out 4, and he turns things over now to the bullpen. First up for Chicago, the lefty, Hector Santiago.
Hector Santiago elected free agency back in November and just didn't have anybody biting for him. They didn't want to sign him, so he signed late. February 14th, the White Sox and Santiago agreed to a minor league contract, non-roster invitee to big league camp. There's Yomar Sanchez, who takes over at third base. Santiago's been a starter in the big leagues. He's going to be a semi-long man out of the bullpen to begin this season for the White Sox. Basically, fastball slider. That's what you're going to get from Sanchez, or excuse me, from Santiago.
Luke Maile leading things off for the Jays here in the 6th. Maile doubled and scored in the 3rd. Two and 1.
Santiago made 14 starts for the Twins last season. Got into 15 games for them. He has also played for the Angels when he first came up for Los Angeles. Veteran guy. Been around for a while, knows a little something, and pitching now out of the bullpen, that might be a nice fit for him.
Came to big leagues for the first time in 2011. Got into 2 games for the White Sox. 42 games in 2012, 4-1 with a .333 average, so he's experienced. High fly ball, not deep. Garcia backing up in right. 1 away. Aledmys Diaz, he has homered in back-to-back games.
They've challenged him. They've thrown the ball over the middle of the plate last night off of Danny Farquhar. This was insurance late in that ball game for a home run. And then tonight against Miguel Gonzalez, slider out over the plate. He does it again to left field. That's a 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning. He also doubled up the gap in right center field. So 3 consecutive extra base hits for Diaz.
Diaz last year, 259, 17 doubles and 7 home runs. And Pat talked about the 17 home run rookie season for the Cardinals. Had a good swing at that, pops it back out of play.
Had a good pitch to hit. That's what Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach of the Blue Jays, was talking about. You know, we've had good at-bats. We've had good approaches at the plate. But when we get pitches to hit, we've been hitting them and hitting them hard.
Diaz is 27 years old. This is his 3rd big league season. Two and 2.
It looked like he might have hurt himself on that swing. It looked a little awkward at the end. Watch the finish. Fastball right down the middle. And you see him stumble a little bit out of the box.
Fly ball into shallow right. Garcia is going to play it on a bounce. Diaz has another hit. 4 straight hits for him in his last 2 games.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We are right next door to CN Tower, and Ledmus Diaz. 4 straight hits in his last 4 plate appearances. Home run, double, single. He tweaked something in that previous swing prior to the base hit. You can see him, he's stretching and bending a little bit, and obviously you have no idea what it is, but there was something that he felt on the swing prior to his base hit.
Something didn't look right after he finished that swing. There's the tight center shot of him swinging that way. You can tell he feels something. Who knows where. Then over at first base, maybe the lower back. Let's hope he's okay. He's been really swinging the bat.
Anderson hits it high to left field. Delmonico makes the catch. Diaz is tagging at first. He's moving towards second. Here's the throw, not in time. Good read by Diaz. He saw it was a playable ball down the left field line. Delmonico running toward the foul line. And Diaz went back quickly and tagged to move himself into scoring position.
That's good base running instincts. He made up his mind right away. He says, okay, that left fielder momentum's going to be taking him away from second base. Abreu's telling everybody that he's tagging up, and he makes it easy. Good heads-up play by Ledmus Diaz.
Well, it's really important with Donaldson coming to the plate. Donaldson is a much different hitter with a runner in scoring position. He's an RBI machine. 6-4, the Blue Jays lead it. Swing and a drive. This ball is lined off the top of the wall. Donaldson cashes in, and good job by Diaz. Moving up on that out to left field, and Donaldson didn't waste any time to knock him home.
Yeah. There's the value of good instincts running the bases. He gets himself into scoring position and score on the long single by Donaldson. If he's at first base, if he doesn't tag up on that play, he's at second, maybe even third base because that ball was hit so hard. He wasn't going to score. So he picks up his teammate, gets himself into scoring position, and Josh cashes him with this laser off the top of the wall.
Just about a foot from his second home run of the game. Donaldson has 3 RBIs tonight. Blue Jays have 10 hits. Justin Smoke batting right-handed for the first time tonight. 0 for 2 with a walk. He scored a run in the third. Check swing foul. Ledmus Diaz singled, and you can see the training staff checking in on him and the manager over as well to see what's going on with him. And he's, whatever it is, he's waving it off. He's got 4 straight hits.
Yeah,
he's not coming out of the game.
That base hit and run score makes it feel a lot better.
Boy, there's so much to be said about taking the extra 90 feet whenever you have a chance. And Diaz did that on the Granderson fly ball to left. Instead of just watching the guy catch it, he immediately retreated, went back to first, tagged, and got himself into scoring position.
That's instincts. Instincts as a baseball player, knowing that that outfielder was going away from the infield, making that catch. And I'm sure they've got a scouting report on Delmonico if he can throw or not. But he made it easy, and it turned out to be a good play. Blue Jays get a run because of that.
Smoke gets hit by the pitch. That'll push Donaldson to second and bring Solarte to the plate with 2 on.
Got hit by a breaking ball right in the ribs. Looked like he was trying to sweep that slider inside and got away from him.
Solarte has doubled in single. He's 2 for 3. Solarte is 1 for 1 going up against Hector Santiago. Boy, he swings it, doesn't he?
Not getting cheated from either side of the plate. He's a switch hitter. You got a guy in scoring position. You see that fastball first pitch, let it go.
Both starters are out of the game. Trey Happ went 5 1/3. Miguel Gonzalez 5 complete. Danny Barnes came in to get the final 2 outs of the 6th. John Axford appears to be standing by ready in the Blue Jays bullpen. Found out of play. Game 3 of this 3-game series tomorrow. The Blue Jays will then go on the road. They have an off day on Thursday before they open up the series against the Rangers. Carson Fulmer will start the finale for the White Sox against Aaron Sanchez. 1-2 to Solarte. In the air. Behind second. Moncada going out. Garcia, the right fielder, comes in and makes the play. And the Blue Jays manufacture a run. John Axford will come in to start the top of the 7th. Good day for Aledmus Diaz. He tags up on the fly ball to left field and scores on Donaldson's RBI single. Over for Danny Barnes. Axford making his 3rd appearance for the Blue Jays. Just an inning and a 1/3 so far. Threw the ball very well his last time out. And another player at shortstop as Aledmus Diaz is out of the ball game. Gift Ngope comes over at shortstop defensively for the Jays.
He's played some second base already, and he's played a very good shortstop. Will take over for Aledmus Diaz. It looked like that back or whatever the problem was looked like it was too much for him.
Ngope started at shortstop on Sunday.
John Gibbons has been using Axford in these situations right here, late in the ball game, where you're facing 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start off with the leadoff man Moncada, but he wants a little bit more power against the power hitters.
Danny Barnes went 2/3 of an inning to close out the 6th.
The last time Axe worked, April the 1st, that was Sunday. He came in and turned the lineup over and actually faced Aaron Judge and Mike Stanton, or Giancarlo Stanton, and walked both of them. But he had a strikeout. I think he sees Garcia, Abreu, and Davidson, the big power hitters of the White Sox, so he wanted a power arm.
The Blue Jays lead 7-4. Garcia on deck has gone 2 for 3 with a home run. And the leadoff man reaches a 4-pitch walk. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, it's good news for Houston that Correa is back in the lineup. He fouled the ball off his foot And it sounds like he smashed his big toe. It got pretty painful. He came out of the game last night.
One of those inside the park home runs was last night by Edwin Encarnacion. Go figure.
Edwin's got 3 home runs already. Avisail Garcia mentioned he homered in his last at bat against Jay Happ. Axford has been impressive with the movement and the velocity of his fastball.
Don't remember him sinking the ball like he has this year. But he's throwing more two-seamers and he's getting tremendous run. You know what that means when you start throwing fastballs at that velocity with that kind of movement. Ground ball. He could use one here.
Pulled that one off the plate. And Luke Maile, he saw something that he wants to correct. So Axford will get a visit from the catcher. That's the first mound visit for the Blue Jays this evening. Two balls and a strike. We're in the 7th. Dangerous part of the lineup for the White Sox. Garcia's at the plate. Abreu's on deck. Axford beat him with that fastball upstairs. Tyler Clippard, another one of the veterans down in that bullpen, starting to loosen up in support of Axford. 2-2. Full countdown.
Probably not going to send the runner here. You got your power hitters coming up. Leadoff walk. Don't want to be running into any outs.
Moncada is running and the ball is fouled off. A little surprising there, but you mentioned the fact that Axford's getting so much movement, they probably are taking a gamble they can stay out of a double play. Start the runner.
Yeah. He doesn't want to see a strike him out, throw him out, and you got a good chance of that, I think. With Axford on the mound, Maile behind the plate.
Maile made a good throw back in the 6th to second base. Just a bit late as Anderson stole it. Not running this time. Ground ball. Donaldson will glove and throw across the diamond, and he gets some help by Smoke. We mentioned what a good first baseman Smoke is, and those are the plays that are really important for the rest of his infield mates. Dig those balls out of the dirt.
Yeah, get it close enough, and the big man will catch it over there at first base. He dug one out earlier an inning ago by the shortstop. This time Donaldson over to first base. That's a tough play for Smoke because as a first baseman, you're not sure if it's going to hit on the grass or the dirt. And that one looked like it was right by the seam, but he stayed down there long enough to pick it.
And you can see how aggressive he was when he swiped at it. He just had that glove go toward the baseball. He was able to scoop it for the out. Jose Abreu with a man at second. Abreu 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. He is just 1 for 6 going up against John Axford. Axford early in the spring was really zeroed in with his control, throwing a lot of strike after strike, but not the case so far tonight.
Pete Walker mentioned that to us in spring training, how impressed he was with Axford pounding that strike zone with that fastball, keeping it down.
Line drive toward right. Grichuk will make the catch, and he dropped it. That ball hit the turf. As Grichuk had it, he slid, and the ball popped out of his glove and hit the turf. Should be another base hit for Abreu.
Yeah, no argument by the Blue Jays. Slider hit hard to right field. It looks like he's there. He's got it, but it just handcuffs him. That ball was slicing on him. And when he reaches up to get it, he's got it in the glove and he drops it. But he smothers it, and the runners are at first and third.
Second hit for Abreu, and we mentioned that Grichuk is not a right fielder. He's basically a center fielder, and you're right. That ball was off the right-handed hitter's bat and had some slice on it. Came back on Randall a bit.
Yeah, had it, looked like it hit maybe in the heel area. Luckily, he smothered it and kept it right there. So the double play is still in order.
Matt Davidson grounded out into a double play in the third. Tapped back to Jay Happ, who started the 1-4-3 double play. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a double play. But he's a powerful hitter. He represents the tying run for Chicago. Remember, Gifton Gope is just into the game as a defensive replacement for the starter Ledmus Diaz. He's a very good fielder. Went back to the breaking ball. He hasn't had great fastball command, so he goes back to that good curveball.
Not a bad idea. Try something different. He hasn't been able to reach out and throw that fastball where he wants to. A well-placed fastball with some movement will get you a ground ball.
Well-placed ground ball. They're going to come home and try to cut the runner off at the plate. Good play by Axford. He's able to get the ball to Maley. It wasn't going to be a double play, obviously, and Axford alertly throws it to his catcher, who tags out Moncada.
That's why it was a good play. He recognizes he wasn't going to get an out at any other base. It was going to be a tough play to try and turn 2 to even get a force at second. So let's take the easy one at home. You practice that all spring. Pitcher's fielding practice, and it pays off for the Blue Jays. He jams up Davidson. They apply the tag, and that is a big out.
2 outs now. Wellington Castillo has gone 0 for 3.
This guy has hammered the Blue Jays the last couple of years.
He has hit 7 home runs against the Blue Jays in the last 2 seasons, including 2 homers in last night's game.
That's why, again, I said it in the first inning. I'm going to say it again. I think you got to keep the ball away from him. He looks to try and turn on pitches. Keep the ball away from him and get yourself a grounder.
Fouled it back. Got away with one inner half. You could see where that last pitch was. Abreu at second. Matt Davidson at first. An anxious moment in this ball game here in the 7th. Oh, good pitch. Didn't get the call.
Luke Maley did everything he could to try and get that one for his pitcher. Tried to frame it up.
2-1 to Castillo. Ground ball right to Ngope. He'll shovel it to Solarte to end the inning. Axford gives up a leadoff walk, but he strands a pair, and the Blue Jays still have a 3-run lead. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Blue Jays looking to make it 4 in a row. And they have a lead 7-4 as they're set to bat here in the bottom of the 7th. We have just been informed that Aledmus Diaz left the ball game with back spasms. That is probably the best news they could get. Maybe he just got a little cramp and you can treat it, and he'll be back in there tomorrow. Grichuk lifts a high pop-up. The shortstop, Anderson, gives way to the left fielder, Delmonico, and Delmonico makes the catch, one away.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Hector Santiago gave up a run on 2 hits last inning, his first tonight. Gets the first out here in the 7th. First pitch strike to Kendrys Morales. Morales, like smoke, a switch hitter. He's batting right-handed for the first time.
He has a home run off of Santiago in his career. He's trying to measure him and get one of those pitches on the inner half that he can pull down the left field line. He used to throw a screwball, Santiago, when he first came up. It's now more of a changeup, and that was it right there. Throw more changeups to right-handed batters.
Greg Gibson down at first calls Morales for the swing. 2 quick outs for Santiago here in the 7th.
And after that changeup down and away, he's going to come slider in, hoping for the strikeout. And that's what he gets on the check swing. Told you Santiago was a starter. He started 14 games last year. So he's one of those guys that, you know, you come in the pen when you're behind, you can give him multiple innings and get you towards the end of the game.
Something the Blue Jays haven't had for a long time is a long man. And you go back to that first championship season in 1985. Dennis Lamp was the long man. Came in when the Blue Jays were down. And he would give you 2, 3, maybe 4 innings, and he had a perfect season. He was 11-0 pitching in that role.
11-0. So you come in, you throw up some zeros, you give your offense a chance to come back and win the game. That's what they're trying to get from Santiago.
You saw that shot. We had Pete Walker and John Axford having a conversation on the bench, and you know, that's important for a pitching coach too. He's just getting a feel for John Axford and what makes him effective. So you have a conversation and say, Ax, what do you feel like out there? It's a bit of a struggle. No struggle for Santiago in the 7th. Couple of strikeouts in a 3-up, 3-down inning. We'll go to the 8th. Tyler Clipper coming out of the pen for the Jays.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
We are set for the top of the 8th inning. It'll be the 4th Blue Jays pitcher to work tonight. Blue Jays have a 7-4 lead. Tyler Clipper coming out of the bullpen. John Axford threw 21 pitches, just 9 strikes. But he got out of it. Now it's over to Clipper.
Didn't give up a run, so Clipper, who pitched in Sunday's game, an inning, had a walk and a strikeout against the Yankees, will take over. He was actually on the White Sox last year. Started the year with the Yankees, got traded to the White Sox in July, made 11 appearances for the White Sox, had a 180 earned run average in 10 innings, then went to Houston and then signed with the Blue Jays late in the spring.
Tim Anderson has had a perfect night at the plate. He's 3 for 3, 2 singles, a home run. He's scored 3 runs, and he has 2 stolen bases. He has 3 of the 8 White Sox hits.
He has had a 4-hit game in his career. Did that last September at Detroit. Just 24 years old. Former first-round draft pick in June of 2013. 17th overall.
Good changeup by Clippard. He gets the strikeout, first out of the inning.
He's come up with a split, and it's a pretty good one. Buck, I think that was it right there. Yeah, here it comes. He off-centers the ball, you can see right there, and gets that type of spin. It's a nasty pitch with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's very interesting, the grip, because gripping it in that fashion, you have seams on both of your fingers. And he gets some real dramatic spin there. This is Adam Engel. Had an RBI ground out his last time up. Oh, and 2.
This is where the veteran goes to work, and he understands what those young hitters are going through. He's starting to expand now. Breaking ball in the dirt. He can go anywhere now.
That's the beauty of having experienced pitchers working the back end of the ball game. Axford, he wasn't great tonight, but he was able to pitch out of it, got himself out of a jam. Clippard, you know they're not going to make mental mistakes, that's for sure. As you mentioned earlier, Pat, they have all closed.
Yeah, they've all closed, and you know he's been sitting down in that bullpen watching some of these at-bats of these hitters. They've got the scouting report. He knows he doesn't have to throw a strike to get him out.
1-2. The ball got away from Melee, but it's a ball. That splitter got away from him now. It's a full count. Homer Sanchez entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 6th, taking over for Saladino, who started at 3rd. Sanchez reached on an error by Diaz. Fastball lifted in the air to right. Kachek is there, makes the catch, 2 away.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
17,451 here on this Tuesday night. The second to the last game on the season opening series. The Yankees were here for 4. The White Sox will play game 3 of this series tomorrow night. Pat, you made a great point on how John Gibbons used the bullpen. In the 7th, he went to the power. John Axford, top of the order, big bats, used the power, little movement, and as we mentioned, Axford wasn't on his game, but he was able to work his way through it.
Got through that.
Now you bring Clippard in with the less experienced batters in the bottom of the order, and they will chase, which plays right into Clippard's hand.
Yeah, more of a breaking ball type of pitcher in Clippard. He's got change up, he's got a curveball, he's got a split finger fastball, and that should work out for you. That's why managing, it's not just managing personalities, you're managing what you see in the game. And you want to put your relievers, you want matchups in your favor. And John Gibbons feels this is in his favor.
There's a high drive, and this one's going to go. Sanchez connects for the home run. The White Sox third home run of the night. They had a good opening series against Kansas City. They hit 7 home runs in that series. That's the first home run for Sanchez this season. And again, it's a 2-run ball game.
They came into this game tied for the second most home runs in the major leagues, #1 in slugging percentage, and they've just added to it. They wanted this fastball away. Now belt tie over the middle of the plate. Gets him 1 run closer.
Number 9 hitter is Nicky Delmonico. He's 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. The White Sox hit 7 home runs in the 2 games against Kansas City. They have now hit 5 home runs in the first 2 games of this series.
Anderson, Tim Anderson, Avisail Garcia, now Yomer Sanchez with home runs tonight.
Clippard ahead, 1-2. Foul tip. Melee holds on for the strikeout. Clippard strikes out a pair. The White Sox get 1 back. Their 3rd home run of the night. Blue Jays have a 7-5 lead going to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio. Bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Jays have a 2-run lead, 7-5. Luke Maile will lead things off. Luke has gone 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. He was the first batter that Santiago faced in the 6th when he came into the game, and he flied out to right field.
That's what we mean about long men. The one time through the order kind of relievers that can settle games down and give you a couple of innings. Nowadays, bullpens are full of 1-inning guys. I'd like to see a former starter thrown out there in these types of games.
2 balls and a strike to leadoff man here in the 8th. Gifton Gope is on deck. Remember, Diaz left the game. Aledmus Diaz was 3 for 3 with a home run, a double, and 3 RBIs. Fly ball into shallow center. Engel is there, 1 away.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Gregory Infante, the hard-throwing right-hander, loosening up for Chicago. Gifton Gope, his first plate appearance of the ball game. Takes a good rip. And Gope started at shortstop on Sunday. Devin Travis did not start this game as Solarte started at second.
There's Devin. He's following the same program as the guy he's sitting next to. 2 games on, 1 game off, just so your legs stay fresh at the beginning of the season.
Roberto Osuna picked up his 2nd save of the season in last night's game, but he only threw 8 pitches. 8 pitches, 8 strikes. Gave up a hit and had a strikeout. Check that. He didn't give up a hit. 3 up, 3 down on 8 pitches. Two and two. Now it's a full count. Curtis Granderson waits on deck. And Gope walks, a 1-out walk. So Gope is aboard. That's just the 3rd walk issued by the White Sox.
That number 9 spot in the batting order has been hot tonight for the Blue Jays.
On base all 4 times. Curtis Granderson. He faced Santiago his last time up in the 6th and flied out to deep left field. You remember that's the play that Diaz tagged at first, moved into scoring position, and was cashed in by Donaldson.
And that might turn into a really big run for the Blue Jays. Diaz doesn't score if he doesn't tag up on that fly ball down the left field line. That's one insurance run the Blue Jays picked up in the 6th inning.
Up and away. Aaron Lopez joined Osuna down in the Blue Jays bullpen. The Blue Jays have Thursday off before they start a 9-game road trip. Texas, Baltimore, and Cleveland. Aaron Sanchez will start tomorrow in the finale of the homestand. Be opposed by Carson Fulmer. A couple of young right-handers. Anderson drives it to center field, and that's going to get down and go up against the wall. Ngope is being waved around third, and they miss the cutoff man. He'll score standing up. Boy, the fundamentals. They had a shot at him. The ball was short of the first cutoff man, Anderson, and skipped by Moncada, the backup, the trailer on the cutoff.
And it wasn't a very far throw, if you will, from center field. An easy throw to the cutoff man, and they missed him. If they get that ball to Anderson, who's got an outstanding arm, they have a shot at the plate. First, the hit by Granderson stays right in on the left-hander. He had a great at-bat against the left-hander yesterday, Avilan. That turned out to be a big one. And look at the throw. Bounces to Anderson. And Gope had just gotten to third base. So they definitely had a shot at him, but it's a big insurance run for the Blue Jays.
Big run. That knocks Santiago out of the game. Gregory Infante will come in to face Josh Donaldson. A run in here for the Jays in the 8th. Game brought to you by the powerful 2018 Civic Type R.
4th inning, the Blue Jays have already hit a single, double, triple. Now Josh Donaldson steps to the plate, gets a split finger fastball inside. He pulls it down the left field line. His 2nd home run of the season, 2nd home run in as many nights. And the Blue Jays hit for the cycle in the 4th inning. That capped off a 3-run inning with 4 hits for the Blue Jays.
Hard-throwing Gregory Infante. Those are his numbers from a year ago. Very impressive ERA at 3.13, over 54 2/3. Donaldson batting with another runner in scoring position.
Big arm for Infante. His fastball has reached speeds of 99 miles per hour. He's also got a power curveball. That was it right there to Donaldson.
Donaldson has only faced Infante once, but he has a hit. 1 for 1. There's that hard breaking ball. Donaldson chased it. The home run Donaldson hit in the 4th extends his personal home run streak to 5 straight games against the White Sox. He's also driven in 3 more runs So he has 25 RBIs in the last 24 games against Chicago.
Here's another one out there at second base if he wants it.
Oh, he wants it.
He's going to have to battle, though, against this hard thrower.
Granderson did a terrific job. His instinct suggested that the catcher didn't see it, but he really wasn't sure. He's already in scoring position. No reason to gamble, especially in this situation.
Yeah, he saw the ball out in front. Castillo, the catcher, didn't see it, though. He thought it went back to the backstop. He is getting some direction from his pitcher where the ball was. I don't think he could have moved up on that one.
That one gets away as well. Two and two to Donaldson. Smoke is on deck. Smoke has gone 0 for 2. He walked and he was hit by a pitch. Pretty good looking pitch. Castillo kind of boxed it up a little bit. That made it look a lot worse than it was.
Yeah, a little awkward catch because the ball was moving so much. I think that blocked off the home plate umpire.
Checking the lacing on the webbing of his mitt just to make sure it's still intact. Donaldson walks. But Josh has reached base in each of his last 3 plate appearances. The Blue Jays have now drawn 4 walks in the ball game. That was a tough at bat for Donaldson. There were some nasty pitches in that at bat. It looked like he was out. One pitch looked like it was strike 3.
Remember, it was 0-2. He had to battle back from 0-2 and finally got himself a walk.
Justin Smoak 0 for 2, as we mentioned. Foul that one back. 95.
Yeah, he's got a good arm. He has spent some time with the White Sox last year. Originally signed with the White Sox May of 2006. Infante's also spent a couple of seasons in the Blue Jays organization. He pitched for their Double-A team in 2014 and 15. Buffalo, he was with Buffalo in 14 and 15 also.
His fastball average is 95.6. Only Nate Jones throws harder in that White Sox bullpen. Jones is up to 97 on his average fastball. Pulled into the seats. 1 and 2. Blue Jays trying to add to their lead. They scored 3 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, and 1 here in the 8th. Aledmus Diaz had a big night at the plate. 2-run home run, RBI double, and a single. He scored a pair, drove in 3. Donaldson has driven in 3 tonight. He too hit a home run, a 2-run shot in the 4th. Castillo's having all kinds of trouble with Infante and may have gotten crossed up on that last pitch.
Yeah, that's going to be a mound visit. Just to talk about it, I think you're absolutely right. He's had a couple of these types of pitches. That's definitely a cross-up. Just by watching how his hand went after that baseball.
Yeah, he was waiting for it to break, and it never broke. He's fortunate he got a glove on it.
Osuna and Loop. I think if it's a 3-run game, Osuna's in. Blue Jays cash a couple of more runs here. I think it's Aaron Loop.
Can save Osuna for another game. Smoke drives it to left field. Delmonico's got a long run. He's not going to get there. It bounces out of play. That cost Smoke an RBI. Donaldson would have scored had it stayed in the playing surface. But Smoke, an opposite field RBI double. And it's now 9-5 Blue Jays.
Smokey's first hit of the night will also be his 9th RBI of the season. This one slicing down the line. Delmonico was way into the gap, taking away the extra base hit into the gap. Justin Smoke crosses him up and drops one down the left field line. That's extra bases.
Ground rule double for Smoke. 1 out. The infield is going to come in and play it halfway. They have just walked Solarte with the intentional walk to load the bases. So they'll put the double play in order and pitch to Randall Grichuk. Solarte hitting in the cleanup spot. Has been on base 3 times in his 5 plate appearances. Grichuk is 0 for 4. Outside for ball 1.
There's Aaron Loop right after the double by Smoke. We had that shot of Osuna and Loop throwing. Roberto sat down. It looks like it's going to be Aaron in the top of the 9th.
Randall lays off that high fastball. Blue Jays with 9 runs on 12 hits. Eight extra base hits for the Jays. 3-0. Kendrys Morales is on deck. A helpless feeling for a manager when your pitcher can't find the strike zone.
And he doesn't have anybody up. He's saying this is your inning.
Green light, high fly ball to center. Donaldson is tagging. Smoke goes back to tag at second. Donaldson comes in to score. Grichuk picks up the RBI with a deep fly ball. They gave him the green light, 3-0, and he cashed in on it. His second RBI of the season.
That does wonders for hitters, especially when you come to a new team. Your manager showing you a lot of confidence in your ability, gives you the green light with the bases loaded.
Kendrys Morales, he's 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a walk. Castillo has had a tough inning trying to corral Gregory Infante. He crossed him up on a pitch. He's had several pitches in the dirt. He's had the block.
And everything is hard and moving. That one looked like it ran right up the wrist and arm of Castillo.
One and one now to Morales. Morales was the DH opening day, but had just 2 pinch hit appearances until tonight. After opening day, there's a drive and a base hit for Morales. Smokes in to score. Morales picks up the RBI. Now everybody in the Blue Jays lineup has a hit or an RBI.
It's a good matchup for Kendricks. Fastball pitcher, fastball hitter. Just get ready to hit the number 1, and he did. Remember, this inning started on a little fly ball to center field for out number 1. Then walk, double, intentional walk, sacrifice fly, and now this RBI hit for Morales. Picks up his first RBI of the season.
Always nice to get your first hit, first ribby. Kevin Pillar is 1 for 4. He's got a base hit and scored a run. Good balanced attack by the Jays tonight. 11 runs on 13 hits. White Sox bullpen has gone back to work, and that's the last thing a manager wants to do in a game where you trail by 6. Have to get up another reliever.
Juan Minaya starting to get loose. You're right. You'd like to get Infante to finish this one off so you save Minaya for another day.
Ripped to left field, and it's over Delmonico's head. Hits the base of the wall. Solarte's in to score, and Pillar picks up the RBI with a double, his second hit of the night. And the Blue Jays have a bat-around inning here in the 8th.
Yeah, and that's another 2-strike hit by the Blue Jays. We have shown that they have had a pretty good 2-strike approach this whole homestand. Pillar cuts things down and rewarded with that double off the base of the wall. I think they need to make the pitching change here. This is the second appearance you see Pillar's double right off the wall. Good 2-strike approach, 2-strike hitting for the Jays.
So Infante has a rough outing. The Blue Jays now lead it 12-5. Juan Minaya in. They're getting a scouting report on the bench. And it took a while for the Blue Jays bats to come around, but in game 3 against New York, things started to click for the offense.
Yeah, the approach was a little bit better. They started using the whole field. You could see the power is starting to come around for the Blue Jays also. Diaz with homers in consecutive nights. Josh Donaldson home runs in consecutive nights. 2-strike approach has been better. 2-strike hits have been better. Hitting with runners in scoring position. They all work hand in hand, and you add it up. 14 hits tonight, 12 runs for the Blue Jays. This is going to be the 3rd relief pitcher for the White Sox. Juan Minaya started his career with the Houston Astros. White Sox claim Minaya off waivers from the Astros June of 2016. He's got a good arm. Fastball, curveball, changeup. But at times can be wild, as you can see right there.
Castillo has had his hands full in this inning. Balls in the dirt, breaking balls that back up, cross-ups. Blue Jays' first bat-around inning of the season. They have scored 5 runs and have runners at second and third. 2 outs. Luke Maley scored the first run of the game back in the third after he led off with a double. He scored on the Aledmus Diaz home run. "12 runs on 14 hits against the team the Blue Jays have had their problems with over the last couple of years. That ball gets away and Morales will stay put. This has turned into an ugly inning for the White Sox. Three and 0 on Maley. Taking all the way. Base hit. That's going to drive in two. Engel can't cut it off, and Maley is headed for second as Morales and Pilar both score. Luke Maley, a 2-run, 2-out single for sure. Engel got to it.
Maybe a double. You know, he had a long way to go to get after it, and that ball was hit hard by Maley. Another great approach by the Blue Jays on a pitch down and away. It's 3-1, so you can figure a fastball's coming, but he doesn't try and pull it, just goes right with it. Slices it to Engel. He started breaking it down, so we'll have to see how they score that one. But another hit, a 7-run inning for the Blue Jays.
Maley credited with a double. Picks up his second RBI of the season. Gift Ngope. Remember, Ngope in his first plate appearance walked with 1 out in this inning. Luke, a pair of doubles. This time he drives in 2. We mentioned the Jays had 2 tough games against Severino and Tanaka, and sometimes you just tip your cap to good pitching. But it's been a different story since Game 3 against the Yankees.
Those 2 guys, it seems like they got the Blue Jays right. They were so tough on them. Where they have 2 hits and then 3 hits, something like that in the first couple of games, but since then their bats have come alive.
You know, Luke Maley becomes such an important player on this team as a backup to Russell Martin, to be able to give Martin ample rest so he's at his best. Maley, with 3 RBIs already, had 7 all season last year. A couple of doubles, and that's what you want from your backup catcher. You don't care if he hits for an average. Just produce.
Just give me
extra
some
base hits, a couple of RBIs here and there. And Luke always calls a good game.
I like the fact that 1 double went to left field and 1 double went to right field.
Well, hitting with 2 outs and runners at second and third, you really focus on cashing in, and that's what Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach, always preaches. RBI situations, big part of the field.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He got himself into a fastball count, working a lot in that cage on his timing and getting that swing started just a little bit early. It's paid off for him tonight.
And Ngope with a full count. 7 runs in this inning. And Curtis Granderson had an RBI double in the inning. His second extra base hit of the game. Line to the second baseman, Moncada, but the Blue Jays have a big inning in the 8th. 7 runs to take a commanding lead. Luke Mailey with a good night. Aaron Luke coming on to close it out. And Luke comes out of the Blue Jays bullpen to pitch the 9th inning. And Luke last year had a good season. He appeared in 70 games for the Jays. Had a good ERA at 3.75. And worked a total of 57 2/3 innings.
Those strikeouts you can see down there, 64 of them. That was a career high last season. His previous career high was 56 in 2014. Second time that we have seen Aaron this season. Through an inning, gave up a hit in that Yankee series.
Top of the order for Chicago. Yohan Moncada, the second baseman, then Avisail Garcia and Jose Abreu. Jay Happ in line for his first win of the season. Went 5 1/3, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, and struck out 9. Looking for his 4th straight win against the White Sox.
And both of his starts last year against Chicago. 3-0 in his last 3 games against the White Sox. In strikeouts, I mean a ton of strikeouts. He came into this game with 35 strikeouts and 32 career innings against them.
Tonight, just 1 walk and 9 strikeouts again. We mentioned the White Sox, a free swinging, very aggressive ball club, and Happ took advantage of that. Foul back. Moncada, he's 0 for 3 with a walk. He was robbed of a base hit. Nice play by Josh Donaldson back in the 5th. Hit a hard ground ball. Had a chance to sneak through the left side of the infield, but Donaldson made a good play on the short hop. Outside. You know, we harp on a couple of things offensively about the Blue Jays. 2-strike hitting and batting with runners in scoring position. They've improved. Tonight they went 7 for 14 with runners in scoring position. They've had some good at-bats. Loop strikes out Moncada. 1 away in the 9th.
I'll take that. 7 for 14 every night. I'll also take this elevated fastball for the first out. I mentioned he had a career high in strikeouts last year with 64. Picks one up right there. That's his first of this year. Back to what you were saying about hitting, also with runners in scoring position. 2-strike approach much better this year.
First pitch strike to Garcia. Avisail Garcia is 2 for 4 with a home run. That's a good changeup. Very effective against powerful right-handed hitters like Garcia.
That's why he was better against righties last year than he was against left-handed batters. He was able to get that fastball in on him and then throw that changeup down and away.
Trying to catch that back door with a slider. 1-2 now. Little tapper, going to be a tough play for Loop, and he throws it away. That ball hit a fan. That fan reached over the top of the fence and hit it, but the umpire, I'm not sure if he saw it or not, but kind of academic as Garcia ends up at second one way or another. Tough play for Aaron Loop, and you knew it was going to be bang, bang. Garcia can run.
For a big guy, he can really run. Even if it's a good throw, I think he beats it out. Up the line, well-placed ball. Here's the throw. See, he would have beaten that out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that should have been an infield hit and then an error, but it's ruled an error all the way. Jose Abreu has got 2 more hits tonight. He's had 5 in the first 2 games of this series. The Blue Jays have been racking up the strikeouts. They had 12 strikeouts on Sunday against the Yankees, 10 last night. Tonight they have 13.
And this is coming against the White Sox tonight, a team that had the 4th fewest strikeouts in the major leagues. The Royals had struck out just 11 times coming into play today. The White Sox had only struck out 25 times, 4th fewest in the major leagues.
There's a strike. It's 2 balls and a strike to the Chicago first baseman. Aaron Sanchez will start the finale tomorrow night. He'll make his 2nd career start against Chicago. He doesn't have a record. He's pitched a total of 9 2/3 against Chicago.
I thought he looked great his first time out. Followed up that start by Jay Happ by pitching into the 6th inning against New York.
5 2/3. He was charged with 4 earned runs on 8 hits, but I think he just had a little bit of adrenaline going. His ball got up in the zone a bit later on.
Got tired in that 6th inning.
Luke knocks it down, and he'll go to first as Abreu is retired. 2 away. 9th inning. Blue Jays looking for their 4th straight win. They lost the first 2 games to the Yankees, and all the fans are going, oh no, we don't have a chance. Things turn around quickly. Anytime you have the kind of starting staff the Blue Jays have, you're going to be in a lot of ball games.
Yeah, Gibby was talking about that today, about that, you know, hey, our starters give us a chance every single night.
We mentioned the Garcia at bat, and indeed it has changed to an infield single and an error on the pitcher that allows Garcia to end up at second, so he gets his 3rd hit of the night.
They probably saw our replay and saw that he was going to beat that out. That's the right call, I think.
Luke didn't have much of a chance to throw him out.
Yeah, he did everything he could.
Matt Davidson. He's had a rough night. A couple of strikeouts, grounded into a double play and a fielder's choice. 0 for 4. Blue Jays split the 4-game series against the Yankees. They, with a win now, will win this series against the White Sox. Strike 3 called. Jerry Lane calls out Davidson for the final out of the ball game, and the Blue Jays win a big one. A laugher, 14-5. They were clicking on all cylinders tonight.
They got the pitching from Jay Happ, 9 strikeouts, 5 in the 3rd inning. They turn it over the bullpen. They just give up 3 hits. Another strikeout for the pitchers, and then the hitters turned it on late. 7 big runs in that 8th inning to blow this one wide open.
Big game, 14 runs on 15 hits. The Blue Jays offense really coming around. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. The Blue Jays win at 14-5. Here's Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka.